What about it, BP?
I'll go for that.
I bet you would. I could too.
He'll have to pay because Benny never pays.
I'd like to say that's true, but I can't actually. He's pretty good at giving up the money on the golf course.
Oh, come on.
That hurts.
Next weekend, it's off to New England for New Hampshire International Speedway's Bud Pole qualifying 2 Eastern Time Friday at CNN Sports Illustrated. Saturday, final practice at 4 Eastern, and Saturday night, the Busch Series race from St. Louis, both on TNT, and then Sunday, the New England 300 from the Magic Mile. See it on TNT at 1:30 Eastern Time, the race for the championship on NBC and TNT. Still under caution at Chicagoland. To pit road and Dave Burns.
Alan, Jeremy Mayfield is having motor issues. He has some misses that they can't trace. They think it's electrical, and when that's the case, you look at a lot of different things. Right now, the voltmeter is down to 0. Jeremy says it's probably, or actually they've been working between him and Tim Harris, the motor guy. It's probably not the ignition box, not the coil, but it's probably the alternator. And the bad thing about that is you've got to get on the motor and get belts off to put this on. With the others, you can replace the entire unit. So right now, as they deal with their electrical situation, it's probably the worst case scenario.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. on pit road. Not many lead lap cars have stopped under these caution laps. Ken Schrader's been in, Elliott Sadler, Bobby Hamilton, and now Dale Jr.
But you see that opening, that spot on the very bottom? He has a little bit of air going in the bottom grill. Now, why is Junior still sitting there? Dave, why is he still sitting there?
Well, apparently they went and closed up the shocks a bit. They were working, remember, with that coil bind problem going into the turns. But I also have a feeling they took a look at the motor while they were in there, because that's been their ongoing issue with Junior as well.
But we see that opening on the bottom. Now, if Nadeau doesn't have that, that could be the reason for his overheating problem.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Benny. And it is a heating problem right now. Temperatures are up. The track temperature is probably hotter now than it's ever been. So.
And we've been under caution for some 6, almost 7 laps right now, too, at 50 miles an hour for Jerry. They are going to get the 1-to-go signal this time at the start-finish line. Let's take a look back at the field now and see how things stand as we come up on 250 miles.
How about Jeff Green back in 6th spot in that 30 car, started in 29th. Tony Stewart started 27th, he's 9th. Johnny Benson, Jeremy Mayfield. Look at all these guys. And Todd Bodine, our pole sitter, back in 15th.
Last car in the lead lap is Bobby Labonte in 22nd. Bobby Labonte was in 22nd. Check that, Elliott Sadler and Dale Jr. also. So 24th place is last on the lead lap. Ron Hornaday's just gone to the garage. Steve Park is out. Mike Skinner's out. Andy Houston is out. Skinner with a hard crash back at lap number 23 when he cut a right front tire and slammed the turn 1 wall. He was alert when taken from the race car, but he has been transported to a local hospital for further x-rays. He said he was knocked out for a time in the car.
See, now they're getting a little bit of air in the front of Nadeau's car, but just see how very, very small that opening was and how large that Junior's was. Tony might be better served to pull some of that tape off. You're talking about those pink things where you can just jerk a piece of tape off. The next stop, they might need to try that. I know they don't want to give up that downforce, but
I'm sure Maximum and Randy Dortner said, Tony, take some tape off the front of that thing.
If he took some tape off and gave up some of the downforce, would it make that much of a difference?
Yeah, it would. That tape makes a big difference on the front of these cars.
Green flag. Kevin Harvick with Ward Burton trying to get a lap back to his inside. Ward is in 25th in the Cat car.
Oh, Ward wants that lap back. He carries the 29 car in very wide, but Harvick would not back up. Took it in on the outside and
now the sandstorm where all the oil dry was. Ron Hornaday's car just officially reported out of the race with engine failure. Here's Spencer looking low on Nadeau for second. Not yet.
Jerry's trying to get by that 22 car, and he picks up a little bit of that aero push, and Timmy's right there ready to pounce.
Ward Burton's car taking some of the air, the draft, the wake created by Ward Burton's car, punching a hole in the air, taking some of that air pressure off the nose of Jerry Nadeau's car.
I saw Spencer up high up at 3 and 4, and I thought maybe that he was going to be trying to pass on the outside, but he was trying to get his line better to come off turn 4 to try to get under the 25 car.
You know, most people that I talked with this morning seem to be of the opinion that as we got to the second half of this race, we would get a second racing group and you'd be able to competitively race side by side. Seems like it's happening.
It's better. It's much better. We saw Ward Burton there. He went in turn 3 much faster than these cars were 20, 15, 20 laps ago even. But a lot faster than they were the first lap.
Oh, Spencer, hang on.
That got Jimmy loose right there, and what happened was he got so close to the 22 car, took the air off his rear of his car, and he got loose.
And he's about to lose a spot to the 40 car, Sterling Marlin.
Third place.
And look at Spencer driving in on the outside.
Jimmy gave a little wave there, saying, "Thank you, Sterling."
Third car in the picture, there's Buckshot Jones. He's a lap down in 25th.
This is the battle for third spot. Kevin Harvick the leader, Jerry Nadeau in second. See, those cars are about 100 yards apart.
Let's check out our top end speeds in turn 1. Look at that, 193 miles an hour right as they crest into the corner.
And Ward Burton was the fastest that time.
And that's after they're already off the gas too.
Check it out this time and see what it tells us.
Red line on the racetrack is where the speed trap is located.
Jimmy Spencer 194 miles per hour. Nadeau 193.
And that's the turn-in speed. They're already off the gas for a couple of seconds before they get in there. Do they touch the brake here?
They probably are touching the brake just a little bit, just to set the nose, to get the front of the car down on the racetrack.
More look at it.
Jimmy Spencer once again 193 miles per hour.
There's Jeff Burton popping up in the speed trap. Burton's running in 7th spot.
And now we see Jarrett, Gordon, and Burton.
Jarrett and Gordon haven't been able to get away from each other all day.
I'll tell you what, this battle for the championship that we'll carry for the rest of the year, it looks like it really is between these two cars and Ricky Rudd.
Bobby Labonte smoking. You'll see these two cars overtake him on the backstretch. Labonte's off the pace. Looks like it's going to give up the ghost. There he is. Boy, it's not been the kind of championship defense that Bobby Labonte was expecting. And Kevin LePage has also taken his car to the garage.
22 knows about it.
That was Bob Jeffrey, the spotter for Dale Jarrett, saying the 22 knows about it. I guess that means he's going to drift up and let Jarrett go.
Bobby probably has gone down and talked to Ward Burton's spotter and said, okay, you're not going to get your lap back from Harvick. How about getting out of our way?
Clear. I've already talked to the 44 up there.
See the championship leaders and their day. The third player in the title picture, Ricky Rudd, is back in 12th spot. So he's moved up a little bit. He was 18th last we checked on him. Now that Jarrett has gotten by Ward, you would expect that he'll let Gordon go also. Kevin Harvick, Jerry Nadeau, Jimmy Spencer, Sterling Marlin, they're the first 4. Then this race for 5th position with Jarrett, Gordon, Jeff Burton. Then you've got Jeff Green in 8th, Tony Stewart 9th, and Joe Nemechek 10th. Ricky Rudd just took 11th from Jeremy Mayfield. We're just past 250 miles.
Clear cut.
Leaders all stopped at lap 138 as we look at our onboard telemetry.
On board with Dale Jarrett as he goes down the front stretch, 197 miles per hour. Off the gas just a little bit. Back on it, full throttle as he exits turn
93
2.
laps to go. 93.
Once again, the green dot on the very right of your screen. That's his location on the speedway in turn 3. Comes off turn 4 to the start-finish line. Dips that car down to the white line.
Let's go hear from the most recent retiree from the race. He's with Dave Burns.
He's also the most recent Winston Cup champion. Bobby, not a good day for you. Obviously a motor problem, right?
Yeah, right before that caution flag, I let off when the yellow came out, and it sounded like it missed right there at the moment, but I thought, well, maybe just because I let off the gas pretty quick or something. And it appears that it broke something in the top end like it did early in the year, so you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. Part of racing.
How is this track driving right now? Is there any second groove at all?
Not really. Every now and then you could create one when you slide up in it, but you don't want to be there very much. And our car was working really good before we changed tires. Then we had a little bit of push, and I said, well, you know, we'll work it in later. We'll get back into it, you know. And before we did that, I mean, it was Interstate Batteries Pontiac was doing pretty good. We were running, I guess, in the top 10, and the car was really cutting good up off the corner and passing guys there. So, but it don't matter now. Okay.
Bobby Labonte had been on a pretty good run lately. Top 10 finishes in 5 of the last 7 races, and his worst finish in that period was a 13th. Not going to be that way today. He's going to be down 39th at the checkered flag of the Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland.